Will it reach my voice?
Yeah. No need to come in. Are you sure? Yeah, 100%. You can hear me very well.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وآله وصحبه أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters, my dear children, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Always nice to see you. Today inshallah I'm going to continue my talk regarding verses in the Quran which starts with Ya ayyuhan nas, O people, O mankind. So the message which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending to everyone on planet earth, whether you are a believer or non-believer, Muslim or non-Muslim. It is a message for everyone to listen to reflect on or upon. It's a message which we as Muslims can use to teach non-Muslims, to advise them about the one true God. Instead of just handing over a Quran to an atheist or a non-Muslim and say, take a Quran, read. No, not advisable. You should sit down, make an effort to collect all the verses in the Quran which deals with people, combine them all together, include some of the footnotes, design your own copy of da'wah book, and you hand it out and you give it to people. Because these are the verses which are dealing with human beings, not just Muslims or believers or children or people of the book or Satan or a prophet or a messenger. It is Ya ayyuhan nas. So today we'll examine few verses from Surah Al-Hajj chapter 22 and from Surah Fatir chapter 35. Very quickly, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم. O people, O mankind, fear your Lord. Rabb means a Lord, a sustainer. Fear your Lord. This is the first command to every person on this planet Earth. Fear God. Because if you fear God, you will behave yourself. Because you know that He is watching over you. إِنَّ زَلْزَلَةَ السَّاعَةِ شَيْءٌ عَظِيمٌ. And then God starts to explain something which we haven't seen yet. We are not aware of yet. In Arabic, the word zilzal means an earthquake. So Allah here refers to the earthquake, the convulsion which will take place on the day of judgment. The day of, or what we call as-sa'a. As-sa'a, in Arabic I would refer to my watch as sa'a, because it shows me the time. In Arabic it's used as sa'a. As-sa'a in the Quran refers to the hour of resurrection, or the hour of judgment, or the hour when the world will come to an end. إِنَّ زَلْزَلَةَ السَّاعَةِ شَيْءٌ عَظِيمٌ. The convulsion of the hour of judgment will be a thing terrible, very frightening thing to experience, to go through. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us exactly how people are going to react to the horrors and the terrible things which will happen on that day. Have you ever seen a mother who is breastfeeding her child would leave the child and run away when there is a disaster? When there is a disaster anywhere in the world, how do mothers react? They pick up the little ones immediately and they run away with them. We never heard of mothers leaving their little one and running on their own. No, they don't do that. But يَوْمَ تَرَوْنَهَا, the day you shall see it, تَذْهَلُ كُلُّ مُرْضِعَةٍ عَمَّا أَرْضَعَتْ. Every mother who is breastfeeding her baby will drop him, will forget about him. The word تذهل, ذهول in Arabic, someone who has an absent mind, completely absent mind. to the extent that she forgets about her own babies, her own children. وَتَضَعُ كُلُّ ذَاتِ حَمْلٍ حَمْلَهَا. And every female who is carrying something inside her womb will deliver it. She will have miscarriage. Unfold. 1 week, 2 weeks, 20 weeks, 30 weeks. You see, the Quran is very, very specific. وَتَضَعُ كُلُّ ذَاتِ حَمْلٍ حَمْلَهَا. كُلُّ, every female carrying a fetus will have a miscarriage. وَتَرَى النَّاسَ سُكَارَى وَمَا هُمْ بِسُكَارَى. And the people will look like drunken people, but they are not drunk. It is the effect of the shock on all these people. The mother who's breastfeeding, the mother who is carrying a child, or the woman who is carrying a baby, and normal people will look as if they are all drunk. So the day you shall see it, every mother giving suck shall forget her suckling babe, and every pregnant female shall drop her load unformed. You shall see mankind as in a drunken riot, yet not drunk, but dreadful will be the punishment of Allah. وَلَكِنَّ عَذَابَ اللَّهِ شَدِيدٌ. The punishment will be so severe. And then Allah tells us that there are people among ourselves who constantly argue about or dispute about Allah without knowledge. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يُجَادِلُ فِي اللَّهِ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ وَيَتَّبِعُ كُلَّ شَيْطَانٍ مَرِيدٍ. He is following the Satan's footsteps in disputing about Allah without knowledge. He has no knowledge. In verse 5 in the same chapter, chapter 22, the pilgrimage, Al-Hajj, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ. Again, O people, O mankind, إِن كُنْتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِّنَ الْبَعْثِ. If you are in doubt of resurrection, if you are not sure, and you dispute about people coming back to life again after death, listen very carefully to the phases you had to go through in your mother's womb and then on this planet Earth. فَإِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن تُرَابٍ. We created you from dust. ثُمَّ مِن نُطْفَةٍ. The nutfa is actually a fertilized ovum, known in embryology as a zygote, sperm plus egg together. ثُمَّ مِن عَلَقَةٍ. عَلَقَة is something which clings. If you look at scan, inside the inside wall of the womb, you will see this little flesh hanging to the inside wall of the womb of the mother. When the first verse was revealed, what's the name of the first verse? Sorry, the first chapter? Surah? No, the first. Iqra. Surah Al-Alaq. What is the meaning of Al-Alaq? What does Allah refer to in this surah regarding Al-Alaq? خلق الإنسان من علق. You know, this surah made Professor Bukai, Maurice Bukai, the French professor of embryology at the Sorbonne in France, embrace Islam. He said, no way would have anybody recognized the growth of the fetus inside the womb at such details. He saw it and he said, it can't be. 1400, Muhammad ﷺ was not a doctor of embryology. He was not. He was revealing a message. خلق الإنسان من علق. And here, من علقة, ثم من مضغة مخلقة وغير مخلقة. Then out of a morsel or a little lump of flesh, a morsel of flesh, partly formed and partly unformed. ونقر في الأرحام ما نشاء. And in order that we may manifest our power to you, and we cause whom we will to rest in the wombs for an appointed time. So, phases of creation inside. If you doubt resurrection, look at your own creation. Where did you come from? An unseen sperm and egg together, fertilized, inside the mother's womb. They cling to the inside wall. They are growing. In another ayah, Allah tells us that He makes the bones first and then He clothes the bones with flesh. ثم يخرجكم طفلا. Then you come out of your mother's wombs as a baby. ثم لتبلغوا أشدكم. Then you reach your full strength. ومنكم من يتوفى. Some of you will die. Because death is not age related. People don't realize this. Ah, he was so young, he shouldn't have died. It has nothing to do with age. Any one of us can die at any moment. A child, before just being delivered, and he dies. Someone lives until he's 110 or 115, and then he dies. It doesn't matter. Death is not related to health, even health, or age. ومنكم من يرد إلى أرذل العمر لكي لا يعلم من بعد علم شيئا. And some of you will live until they reach a feeble age. Then they will know nothing after they have known much. Another miracle. What is the meaning, you know nothing after you have known much? What is the name of the disease? What's called? Alzheimer. Alzheimer's disease. The name of the German doctor who discovered it. But it is in the Quran 1400 years ago. It's also known as dementia. And in Surah Yasin, وَمَنْ نُعَمِّرْهُ نُنَكِّسُهُ فِي الْخَلْقِ أَفَلَا يَعْقِلُونَ. And whoever we will make or cause to live for a very old age will reverse the whole process. He will start to become double incontinent. He loses his hearing and his sight. He becomes so weak. He's walking on a frame or crawling on the floor. خلاص. That's it. أَفَلَا يَعْقِلُونَ. Don't they reflect? Don't they think? No. أفلا يبصرون? Can't they see? أفلا يسمعون? Don't they hear? No, we don't. We don't hear. We don't see. We don't reflect. We don't think. Unfortunately. وترى الأرض هامدة فإذا أنزلنا عليها الماء اهتزت وربت وأنبتت من كل زوج بهيج. And you look around you and you see the earth is dead. Dead, dry and dead. Lifeless. But when we bring the water, you can see life. Life is growing. Life is there. And the interesting word here is اهتزت. It vibrates. Vibrates. Physically, they discovered this exact what happened. The cells, the little plates there, they vibrate because of the water coming on them, not because of the impact of the water. No. وأنبتت من كل زوج بهيج. But when we pour down rain on it, it is stirred to life, it swells, and it puts forth every kind of beautiful growth in herbs. And then in verse 8, Allah continues to tell us, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يُجَادِلُ فِي اللَّهِ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ وَلَا هُدًى وَلَا كِتَابٍ مُنِيرٍ. And among people, there are those who dispute about Allah without knowledge, without guidance, and without a book of enlightenment. What is his aim? What is on his agenda? What's his plan? Why does this person do that? ثاني عطفه ليضل عن سبيل الله. His main aim is to misguide people from the way of Allah. Just as simple. He is a Satan from the ins. شياطين الإنس. A Satan from the ins, from the humans. Many years ago, a group of Europeans decided to go and reside in the Middle East. They went to Morocco, Algeria, Egypt, Libya, Syria, Iraq, and they went with one purpose: to discredit Islam and to discredit the Quran. That was the purpose. They are known as the Orientalists, al-Mustashrikun. That was their main agenda. They went, they learned Arabic, they lived among the people, they dressed like them, they spoke like them, they ate the same food, and they started to study the Quran and find, there is a contradiction here. There is discrepancy here. Allah says in this verse, this word. And then he says this word in another. But there is a contradiction. It doesn't make sense. And they started to publish these things as contradictions in the Quran, or discrepancies of the Quran, or the Quran is anti-Semitic, or the Quran doesn't treat women nicely. They are very intellectual people, very educated people. They came from Oxford and Cambridge and other universities, but their main aim was to discredit Islam by discrediting the Quran. Now, how should we respond to them? intellectual. You cannot respond to these people by violence. You cannot talk to them by shouting at them. But unfortunately, we as Muslims are not trained. We are not trained to have a dialogue. It's either my way or the highway. And we start to raise our voices, to raise our voices, to raise our voices. We lost. We lost. Very common. Very common. You go to a debate or a lecture and you find some of the Muslim speakers there. You only shout and raise their voices. This is not the way forward. It's wrong. Now we go to Surah Fatir, chapter 35. Another verse, verse 3, starting with Ya ayyuhan nas, O people, O mankind. A message coming from Allah to all of us. اذكروا نعمة الله عليكم. Remember the favors and the blessings and the grace of Allah onto all of you. نعمة. وإن تعد نعمة. نعمة means a favor, a blessing. نعمة. Bounty. نعمة. وإن تعدوا نعمة الله لا تحصوها. If you try to count the blessing, the favors of Allah, you will never be able to count them. وَمَا بِكُم مِّن نِعْمَةٍ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ. Whatever blessing or grace or bounties you have is from Allah, not from anybody else. هل من خالق. Question now. You are arguing with a non-Muslim and you are talking to him about the verses which are addressing all the people. هل من خالق غير الله يرزقكم من السماء والأرض. Is there any other creator? It's very fascinating the way Allah chose the word خالق here. He didn't say ilah. He said, is there any other creator apart from Allah, other than Allah, يرزقكم من السماء والأرض, who can provide for you from heavens and earth? لا إله إلا هو فأنا تؤفكون. There is no God but Him. So why then you are deluded from the truth? In verse 5, يا أيها الناس, again, يا أيها الناس إن وعد الله حق. The promise of Allah is the truth. Yeah, there are so many promises in the Quran Allah made to us. And so many promises Satan made to us. Who is going to win at the end, Allah or Satan? Why? Because إن وعد الله حق. The promise of Allah is true. وعد الله الذين آمنوا منكم وعملوا الصالحات لا يستخلفنهم في الأرض. To the end of the verse. Allah promised those who believe and do good deeds, they will inherit the earth and. من عمل صالحا من ذكر أو أنثى وهو مؤمن فلنحيينه حياة طيبة. Whoever will do good deeds, whether a man or a man or a woman, while he is a believer, will ensure that he will live a pure and good life. قد أفلح المؤمنون. The believers will prosper. And so on. There are so many promises Allah made in the Quran. He is going to fulfill His promises. But Satan's promises are fake, are false. In chapter 14, Surah Ibrahim, on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give the mic to Satan to stand up in front of him. This is the democracy of Allah. Democracy. Even Satan will have the chance to speak before he will be in the hellfire. وقال الشيطان لما قضي الأمر. Satan will say when the order being decided, I promised you and I made false promises to you. Allah promised you and His promises are true. Don't blame me, blame yourself. I invited you, I called you, and you came running after me. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in this verse, فَلَا تَغُرَّنَّكُمُ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا وَلَا يَغُرَّنَّكُمْ بِاللَّهِ الْغَرُورِ. Don't let this life, حياة الدنيا, this life, deceive you. And don't allow al-gharur, it's another attribute to the name of Satan, deceive you. O people, certainly the promise of Allah is true. Let not then this present life deceive you, nor let the chief deceiver deceive you about Allah. إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ. Satan is your manifest enemy. Should I befriend him? Should I be good companion of Satan? فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا. Take him as your enemy. إنما يدعو حزبه ليكونوا من أصحاب السعير. He is calling upon his party to be the companions of the hellfire. There are only two parties. Allah has only his political system, he has two parties. Who can tell me the two parties of Allah? أصحاب حزب الشيطان, Hizbullah, وحزب الشيطان. But Hizbullah is not the Lebanese one. No, nothing to do with it. Hizbullah and Hizb al-Shaytan. So if you want to be a member of Hizbullah, you have to follow what Allah commands you to do. If you want to be member of Hizb al-Shaytan, you are going to befriend Satan. And there are two types of Satans. Human Satans and Satans from the jinn. If I say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, the Satan from the jinn will disappear. والذين إذا مسهم طائف من الشيطان تذكروا فإذا هم مبصرون. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. He immediately he goes. But when you say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم to a human Satan who is trying to persuade you to go away from the path of Allah, you will not be able to do that. So we have to be very careful in the way we choose our peers, our friends, our mates, to make sure they are not from human Satans, because it's very difficult to get rid of them. Very difficult. And parents must be aware of what friends their children are or people their children are befriending, whether on the internet or at home or at school, at the workplace. And we as parents must also make sure we don't befriend those who are human Satans. And you can find them from the various verses here, which tells you that there are people who dispute about Allah without knowledge, without book of enlightenment, and without having the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The main aim is to mislead humanity. That's the main aim. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين فاستغفروه إنه غفور رحيم. Brother Ibrahim, have you got any announcement to make, please? It's 2 o'clock, yeah?
Yes.
You see, I go by that clock there, and this clock is about 10 minutes early. No? It's too early.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Quick announcement for the mosque this week. We go. Please pray for baby Aline, who is suffering from cancer, and Mr. Abdul, who is also suffering from cancer. Please remember them in your dua. One of our Jummah here, his mom went to Pakistan. While she was there, she went into coma. Please pray for her in your dua. The mosque, the park fee now, the car park fee now, is been finalized. It's £165. Yes, £165 each. We're looking for 100 people so that we can pay the council, because they charge us £16,500 a year rent for the car park. What we usually do, we divide this among ourselves. For this year, it will work out to be, if we can get 100 people to volunteer to contribute to this amount, it will be £165 each. And the brother has already donated £5,000. So we're talking about minimum of 165. If you can't do more, please do that. Finally, we got the Youth Phone Day, mostly for the children who come to madrasa here. It's on Sunday. And please, if your child or you know somebody who want to come and join us, so they got the time. There'll be various activities, playing, reading Quran, teaching them manners and everything in there from what time, brother? From 5 to 10 to 5 in the morning on Sunday. And if you want to come and help us as well, particularly youth, if you got nothing to do or something, some of the time to spare on Sunday, please come along and join this festivity. Yes, that is it. Jazakumullah khair.
Assalamu alaikum.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وآله وصحبه أما بعد فيقول الله سبحانه وتعالى في سورة فاطر أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الناس اذكروا نعمة الله عليكم هل من خالق غير الله يرزقكم من السماء والأرض لا إله إلا هو فأنى تؤفكون أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وآله وصحبه أما بعد فيقول الله سبحانه وتعالى في نفس السورة يا أيها الناس إن وعد الله حق فلا تغرنكم الحياة الدنيا ولا يغرنكم بالله الغرور صدق الله العظيم وبلغ نبيه الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آل بيتك الطيبين الطاهرين وأزواجك أمهات المؤمنين وصحابتك وخلفائك الراشدين والتابعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين ونحن معهم بفضلك وجودك وكرمك يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وذل الشرك والمشركين وأهلك أعداءك أعداء الدين اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه اللهم إنا نسألك هداك ورضاك اللهم اجعل أعمالنا في رضاك بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلى الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر أقم الصلاة إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا والإقامة
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة